Now the next topic that we have to study is that of pleiotropy. Now what is pleiotropy? Let us have a look on this term. This word is not going to give you any description in itself. You have to find the answer in the definition itself. Now what is the definition of pleiotropy? Pleiotropy refers to a condition where one gene expresses itself not just singularly in a phenotype but in many phenotypes. Okay, so again the definition is not clear enough. What does pleiotropy actually signify? Till now we had seen that one gene is responsible for one phenotype. As if you had talked about tall gene, it was giving the characteristics of height. Either it could be responsible for tallness or it could be responsible for being dwarf, but the character that was expressed, that was singular. The height is not going to influence the sexual characteristics of the plant or any other characteristics of the plant. But in case a gene is representing more than one phenotype, that means it is part of more than one metabolic process, so that it gives two or more expressions, that condition is known as pleiotropy. Understand it in this way. Supposedly you have gene A which is responsible for eye color. This is the simplest expression that we have, that a gene is responsible for eye color, but apart from eye color, if it is responsible for skin color as well, that means the skin color is affected by this gene, then it is pleiotropic. Supposedly not only skin color but muscle contraction is also carried out by the proteins which are formed by this particular gene A, and of course we consider that it's alleles. It could be like this or like this, it could be this condition. So supposedly we have this gene that is responsible for carrying out multiple activities for expression in different phenotypes, that is multiple phenotypes. That condition is known as pleiotropy. We would understand this term with an example of a disease that occurs in human beings. It shows in young children in a few months of their age. The disease manifests itself, and what is the disease that we have to study? That is Phenylketonuria. Okay, this is otherwise represented as PKU. As a disease, it manifests either in full-fledged form or it could be in its light expression. So in case the disease is in its full-fledged form, then what do you find in the people suffering or the children suffering from this disease is high degree of mental retardation, where we see seizures. Okay, a lot of seizures and bipolar sort of activity. There is mouse-like smell, mouse-like odor in the individuals. Okay, so we have mental retardation, as a result of which we find seizures, bipolar disorders, and we have mouse-like odor coming from the body. Also there is condition where we have light hair and skin. There could be patches on skin. Now all these could be considered as symptoms, okay, of this particular disease. Why it happens? It happens because a gene is non-functional. Single gene is non-functional. A single gene is non-functional and all these problems are coming. Now this gene is responsible for carrying out many metabolic processes, and as you know, metabolic processes are interlinked. So whatever this single gene, supposedly it is forming a particular type of protein. That protein is required in metabolic process 1, metabolic process 2, metabolic process 3. So this is missing, then you have symptom A. This is missing over here, this protein is missing over here, you are having symptom B. It is missing in the third metabolic process, you are having symptom C. So in a way you get an idea that because a single gene is non-functional or dysfunctional, or it is having some problem. A protein is not being formed, let that be X protein. Now this X protein was required in various metabolic processes 1, 2 and 3. X protein being unavailable, now what happens is that the metabolic process is hindered, it is not taking place as it should be, and the symptoms show themselves. Now, what is that protein? That also you have to remember. The single gene that is altered, it leads to the condition known as inborn error of metabolism. So, phenylketonuria is an inborn error of metabolism and is studied as example of pleiotropy in human beings. Now, this inborn error of metabolism is responsible for giving these symptoms as a disorder which is manifesting itself. Okay. Now, this inborn error of metabolism is brought about by a condition where a gene which is absent does not produce the protein which is required for converting phenylalanine into tyrosine. Now see this, phenylalanine is an amino acid. Tyrosine is also an amino acid. Phenylalanine is very important amino acid. It is responsible for making many proteins. Now this phenylalanine has to be converted to tyrosine under the influence of a protein which is catalyzing this reaction. Now when the protein is not being formed, the phenylalanine does not get converted to tyrosine. When it does not get converted to tyrosine, it instead forms phenylpyruvic acid and its other derivatives, okay, and other phenyl derivatives. And because of that, what happens is there is lot of accumulation of phenylpyruvic acid in the cerebrospinal fluid. Now once the cerebrospinal fluid has excess amount of phenylalanine or phenylpyruvic acid, then it leads to mental retardation. Also, this extra phenylalanine or phenylpyruvic acid that is formed as a result of hindered metabolism or altered metabolism that is taking place, there is release of ketone bodies in the urine. Okay? Ketone bodies are released in the urine, because of which it is known as phenylketonuria. This is what you have to understand in this disease. I hope that whatever happens in the disease condition, you have got an idea, and from this disease you have to take a better idea of what pleiotropy is all about. So this is all about pleiotropy.